Very good evening, all of you. Today we will conclude our chapter number 3, that is plant kingdom classification, with elaboration about angiosperm. So this is the last and most improved type of plant, and we successfully completed the cryptogams and the other phanerogam, that is called gymnosperm. And we are going to start with the angiosperm. So it is one of the most diverse plant of its nature. Angiosperms are the plants which are responsible for production of flower, fruit, and seed, and they are called angiosperm. And their basic difference with gymnosperm is, in their case, the ovule is covered by ovary, जिसकी वजह से इनकी सीड्स नेकेड नहीं होती है, क्योंकि ओव्यूल जो होती है दैट इज कन्वर्टेड इनटू सीड, और जो ओवरी होती है दैट इज कन्वर्टेड इनटू फ्रूट. यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हैं कि एंजियन और स्पर्म, ये दो वर्ड मिलके एंजियोस्पर्म होता है. एंजियन मींस कंटेनर एंड स्पर्मा मींस सीड. तो इनकी सीड हमेशा एक कंटेनर दैट इज ओवरी के अंदर रहता है. You can see that there are 416 families and this many genera, and this data is 2015. So you can understand how diverse this plant species is. And actually, they are called anthrophyta because they can be present anywhere. तो आप देख सकते हो the angiosperm can be very big and it can be small like this. You know, Wolffia is the smallest angiosperm. तो आप में से ये जो आप सभी देख सकते हैं कि ये एक एक जो हरे रंग की वस्तु दिख रही है, all of them are single angiosperm, that is plant. Isn't it extraordinary, class? आपने कभी सोचा होगा कि ये एंजियोस्पर्म होगा?
मैम.
यस बेटा.
मैम.
यस आयुषी.
मैम अगर इनके इतने बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर है तो फिर भी हमें उनको एंजियोस्पर्म्स में क्यों कंसीडर?
Because in this basic structure they have properties similar to angiosperm. It's not about the size. कुछ फर्न होते हैं जो बहुत बड़े हो सकते हैं, but like not naturally they can be that much well developed. Yes Rutu.
मैम अगर इनकी साइज इतनी छोटी है, अगर उनके कैरेक्टर्स मिलते हैं एंजियोस्पर्म से, तो मैम रिप्रोडक्शन कैसे होता होगा?
That too you will learn about angiosperm reproduction. Slight modification is there. I told you from the first day कि biology is a science जिसमें कभी भी 1+1 2 नहीं होता. It is a science of exception. Some very important character of this plant is similar to the angiosperm. That's why I can say renowned scientists classified them. There are reasons for classifying them under angiosperm. So why we have such diverse kind of angiosperms in the world? What was the benefit that angiosperms had, due to which they are such huge in number, in variety? First of all, the advantage of angiosperm over other plants are they have typically present flower. Flower is a ultimate reproductive success. Presence of flower make the reproduction process of angiosperm very successful, and there are symbiotic relationship, or I can say dependence on various living and non-living organisms for their pollination. Flowers अपने आप को इसी तरीके से modify करते हैं depending on the pollinating agent. let me tell you, whole reproduction of angiosperm will be a topic in your grade 12. एक chapter होगा आपके पास that will deal with the reproduction in angiosperm. This year we are going to learn a bit about it, but majorly we are going to learn in grade 12. So as seeds are present inside the fruit, they are more protected and more nourishment they can get from the fruit, जिसकी वजह से germination rates are more. So chances of survival are more in case of angiosperm. इनकी फ्लावर्स और फ्रूट्स भी ऐसे होते हैं ताकि सीड्स दूर दूर तक जा पाए. जैसे आपने कभी सोचा है कि आम के पेड़ को क्या फायदा होता है अगर आम एक बहुत टेस्टी फ्रूट है? डू यू थिंक इट इज गेटिंग एनी बेनिफिट? उसको क्या फर्क पड़ता है? आम का पेड़ तो आम नहीं खाने वाला है ना? यस और नो?
यस मैम.
क्यों आम इतना टेस्टी होता है? व्हाट इज द बेनिफिट? सोचो.
मैम आम खाने के बाद उसका जो सीड होगा वो यूजफुल होगा.
आम के ऊपर का जो पल्प है जो हम खरीद खरीद के खाते हैं उसका इतना टेस्टी होने से मैंगो ट्री को क्या फायदा होगा? दैट्स व्हाट आई एम आस्किंग. व्हाट
मैम पर उसमें
या बच्चा की उसको हम वापस से ग्रो करने के लिए डाल देंगे ना.
वेरी गुड. सबसे बड़ी बात कि उसको हम लेंगे ना, कंसीडर करो एक मैंगो ट्री है, उसका फ्रूट कोई खाता नहीं, ठीक है? तो फिर उसकी जो सीड है वो हमेशा पक के गिरेगी कहाँ पे? मैंगो ट्री के नीचे. अब वहां ऑलरेडी एक इतनी बड़ी ट्री है. डू यू थिंक कि यंग मैंगो प्लांट्स को चांसेस है वहां पे ग्रो होने की?
नो मैम.
नो मैम.
Even if it grows, it will not grow in a very healthy environment. उसको धूप नहीं मिलेगा, पानी नहीं मिलेगा. बट अगर बर्ड्स मैंगो खाते हैं, खाने के बाद वो सीड कहीं दूर जाके फेंकेंगे, इंसान कहीं दूर जाके लगाएंगे उसको. सो ये उसकी तरफ से हम उसको थैंक यू बोल रहे हैं, बट मैंगो प्लांट इज ऑल्सो हैविंग सम बेनिफिट. सो दैट इज वाई कि कौन सा ऑर्गेनिज्म उसकी सीड को डिस्पर्स करेगा, डिपेंडिंग ऑन दैट द सीड्स एंड फ्लावर्स आर मॉडिफाइड. सो ये जो इवोल्यूशन इनमें हुआ है, एडेप्टेशन टू attract the agents of pollination, attract the agents of seed dispersal, जिसकी वजह से angiosperm is the leading plant in the plant kingdom. Understood?
Yes.
So here are some differences of gymnosperm and angiosperm. I request all of you to quickly have a look into it and let me know if you have any doubts. So you can see these are the things which are different. But I wish to focus on something more here. First of all, let me tell you, other than this, here I wish to mention that the endosperm is 3N and here endosperm is N. I told you what endosperm is. It is the tissue which is providing nourishment to the growing embryo before the seed germination. Second point is double fertilization occurs here. We will learn this time what is double fertilization. Here it has the single fertilization. So these are the different, I can say, the dissimilarities between the angiosperms and gymnosperms. Any doubts, anyone regarding this?
No.
Great. Then we will move ahead. So now next we will look upon a few similarities between angiosperm and gymnosperm. Both are able to produce pollen. Both bear the seed. Both are having their sporophyte main plant differentiated into root, stem and leaf. Ovules develop into seeds, and gametophyte is reduced in both of them. So now we will talk about the habitat of angiosperm. Angiosperm basically grow anywhere. You can find them in the land, but if that's not all, you can find them underwater also. Many angiosperm species are there which are aquatic. For example, Zostera is there, Thalassia is there, all of them are aquatic. So aquatic forms can be freshwater. For example, Wolffia and Lema, they are freshwater plant. They can be mesophytes. Mesophytes means growing in normal condition where the soil is, there is soil, not the sand, or there is no stone. They are growing on soil with moderate temperature like sunflower, mulberry. There may be xerophytes. Xerophytes are plants which are growing in harsh environment. We talked about them. There may be succulent also. These are called succulent. Cactus तो आप में से सबने देखा ही होगा, I guess.
Yes.
वो उसकी fleshy stem होती है. So they may be lithophytes. जैसे यहाँ आप देख सकते, they are growing in a rock. Okay. They may be psammophytes which are growing on a sand. They may be halophytes which are growing in an area where salt concentration is very high. Can you see? This is in our country. We see it in the Sundarban forest.
Yes, ma'am.
है ना?
Yes, ma'am.
So these are the plants which are halophytes, and some of them grow in marshy areas where mud is there. Like they grow in that area, like Rhizophora. So now, after discussing habitats, I wish to talk about the habits of angiosperm. Angiosperms can be herbs, like these are the herbs which cannot stand upright very firmly. Wheat के प्लांट बहुत बड़े होते हैं तो उनको सपोर्ट लगते हैं, वो उतने बड़े होते ही नहीं कि सपोर्ट लगे. So we call them herb. Now shrub का example क्या है? Best example is lemon tree, jasmine tree, even rose is a shrub. China rose, जिसे आप China rose को पता होगा ना सबको, क्या बोलते हैं उसे आप लोग common name?
Hibiscus.
It's a shrub or tree. तो shrub और tree में क्या फर्क होता है बेटा? Shrub जो होती है उसकी branching जो होती है वो बहुत नीचे से start हो जाता है, जिसके वजह से plant में एक bushy appearance आता है. And in case of trees, थोड़ा ऊपर से branching चालू होता है, so the bushy habitat is present at the top. So this is what is shrub, and this is tree. So majorly 3 types are there, but हम अभी morphology वाला chapter जब पढ़ेंगे, we will be able to discuss about different other habitats too. So there can be trailers, creepers, tweeners, climbers, lianas, and epiphytes. I don't want to talk about them in detail. Basically, these are different types of herbaceous plants which cannot stand upright, so they need a support to grow. इसमें से grass तो आपने देखा ही होगा, बाकी चीजें आपके लिए नया है. Let me talk about epiphytes. These are plants which grows on plants. जैसे वो orchids जो होते हैं ना, आप कभी हिमालयन रीजन में घूमने जाएंगे तो you will be able to see that बड़ी सी ट्री है, that tree is different. उसके ऊपर ये epiphytes orchids grow करते हैं, and it's like beautiful images. So basically, if we look into the morphology of a angiosperm, body is divided into two parts, root system and shoot system. So this is the root part where one main root, generally if it is there, we this system is called taproot, जिसमें एक main root होता है और उसके side roots होते हैं. But कई cases में there can be fibrous root also. For example, monocots have root system like this, जिसमें कोई main roots नहीं होता है. All roots are main roots. Okay, so this type of root system is called fibrous root system. I guess you studied about during grade 9.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so apart from root, which is the main part of the plant, helpful for holding that plant in the place as well as for absorption of water and minerals, the shoot part is having flower. Flower plant की जो tip होती है, that is called terminal part. It has leaf. Leaf के base में अगर greeny structure रहे, that is called petiole. This is the leaf blade. अब now I wish to tell you what is axil. जब कोई branching होती है तो मेन स्टेम जो होती है और जो ब्रांच होता है उसके बीच में जो एंगल होता है दैट इज कॉल्ड एक्सिल, और वहां जिस बर्ड को पाया जाता है दैट बर्ड इज कॉल्ड एक्सिलरी बर्ड. और जहां ब्रांच होती है दैट इज कॉल्ड नोड, और दो नोड के बीच के एरिया को बोला जाता है इंटरनोड. यस बेटा.
मैम वो दो ब्रांच के बीच में एंगल होता है वो अपना क्या?
एक्सिल, AXIL. इसीलिए वहां जो बर्ड होता है दैट इज कॉल्ड एक्सिलरी बर्ड.
ओके मैम.
Okay, so the function of shoot part is go for photosynthesis. It bears the fruits and flowers also which have reproductive purpose. So roots may there can be taproot, fibrous root, and these are adventitious root. I told you in the marshy areas plants को support देने के लिए ऐसे roots होते हैं. These are called prop roots. They are helpful for making this plant stand upright. Now, I know that we are going to discuss this in detail in chapter number 5, but these are the terminologies used a lot. That's why I am explaining it over here. In leaf, there are venation. If you look into this venation, it is parallel. Venation is parallel. That means lines are moving parallel to each other, like this. If you have a magnifying glass, you can pluck some grass and put it against the light and then check with the magnifying glass. You can see such parallel venation. Same you can do with hibiscus or rose plant leaf. It is having reticulate venation. You can see a network structure is present in case of reticulate venation. Is it clear, beta?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So next, nutrition. We can say that some plants are saprophytes. There can be some plants, you must have noted this in like in our quiz last week we played.
Yes, ma'am.
So they are plants which are saprophytic plant. Apart from that, they can be parasitic. For example, this is Arceuthobium, which is called Rasna. It is growing on other trees, and there can be insectivorous plants also. These are example of insectivorous plants like Nepenthes and Venus flytrap. Okay, so but they have their own reason for this. For example, in case of insectivorous plant, they can go for photosynthesis, but to replenish the source of nitrogen, which is less in the soil, they go for eating the insects. So now, seed germination in the plants. This germination can be of various types. Once you can see, basically I wish to talk about these two types of germination. In this case, you can see the seed will remain up. जैसे जैसे plant में से first root is coming, then the seed is going up with the shoot part, and then the leaves are coming out. This type of germination is called hypogeal germination. It is observed in dicot. And this is called एपिगियल germination, जिसमें सीड कभी बाहर आता ही नहीं है. It is always remaining inside. The shoot is coming out of the soil. This is called epigial germination. Now we will talk about viviparous germination. ये क्या है? Have you ever heard about this word vivipary?
No.
Viviparous animal, oviparous animal.
Yes, ma'am.
क्या होता है वो? What are viviparous and oviparous animals? Animals का बोलो, I will tell you what plants.
Ma'am, viviparous animals are which give birth to baby, and oviparous are which lay eggs.
So plants can give birth to new plants. What is this concept? See, these are plants grow in salty region. So what happens in their case is beta, if they put their young seeds into water or in the land nearby, the seeds will get spoiled. So what happens is seed germinate while it is attached to the main plant. And after germination and a certain period of growth of the seedling, then it get detached from the main plant and then it grows. That's why this type of germination is called viviparous germination. Understood, everyone?
Yes.
So we will talk about movement. Actually, this part is many a times addressed in entrance examination, but no like part included it in your syllabus in as per NCERT. That's why I thought to give you a brief idea. Don't worry, you don't have to remember the whole thing. Actually, plants actually can move. They cannot change their place, especially the angiosperms, because they are big in size. So these movements can be either spontaneous, that means without any presence of influence they move, or they may be due to some kind of induction. For example, all of us know that sunflower is called sunflower because it change the direction of the flower as per the direction of the sun. ये तो सुना ही होगा सबने. In grade 10,
Yes,
the
ma'am.
chapter about
Yes, ma'am.
hormonal control and coordination, you studied that how stem moves towards the light due to effect of auxine, isn't it? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
So all these are coming under induced movement of curvature. Now, if you see that movement of locomotion which is observed in lower organisms, it can be tactic movement which is induced. For example, movement of the antherozoids of bryophytes towards the archegonium. How they identify the way. because of the chemicals secreted by the archegonium like malic acid, which is spreading into the water, and जो antherozoids यानी male gametes होते हैं that drag towards it. That type of movement is called paratonic. And if like it is moving by ciliary movement, it is called autonomic. Movement of curvature is having autonomic in that there can be growth movement, or there may be growth movement by induced. For example, roots always move towards the land. आप एक छोटी सी एक्सपेरिमेंट घर पे करके देख सकते हो. एक चने को आप अगर कंसीडर करो, यू हैव अ चना. अब इसमें आपने देखा है हमेशा नीचे से रूट निकलता है, और थोड़े दिन आप रुक जाओ तो अपर पार्ट से ऐसे लीफ और सिडलिंग निकलता है. अब आप क्या करो, इसको ऐसे वर्टिकली ना रखे, हॉरिजॉन्टली रखो. यू विल बी एबल टू सी के रूट इस तरफ जाएगा नीचे की तरफ, एंड शूट हमेशा ऊपर की तरफ ग्रो करेगा. इफ यू विश यू कैन चेक इट विथ अ ग्राफ. Okay, so this is called geotropic movement. So root is always positive geotropic, that means it is moving towards the land, and stem is positive phototropic. It can be for other factors like thigmo, which is related to touch, hydro water, chemo, which is chemicals, thermo, which is due to temperature, and aerotropic means towards air. So all these movements are induced by one or the other factor, but all these movements are due to growth of the plant. जैसे phototropic में आपने पढ़ा है कि plant की जो stem होती है that move towards the light. क्यों मूव होती है टुवर्ड्स द लाइट? क्योंकि यहाँ ऑक्सीजन का लेवल ज्यादा होता है अगेंस्ट द लाइट. अगर लाइट इस तरफ है, ऑक्सीजन विल ग्रो मोर इन दिस साइड, so stem will bend towards the light. So here the movement is associated with the growth, with the cell division. And in case of nastic movement, it is same. Nictinastic means touch, seismonastic means vibration, phygmonastic or haptonastic means also a kind of touch only. All of them are not at all due to growth. जैसे आपने ये पढ़ा है टच मी नॉट प्लांट के बारे में.
Yes, ma'am.
क्या होता है टच मी नॉट प्लांट में?
मैम उसको छूते हैं तो वो ऐसे अंदर अपने जो लीव्स होते हैं ना वो
that is nictinastic. That's why it is reversible. आप छूते हो तो जो पत्ते होते हैं वो मुरझा जाते हैं, they droop, and once the touch is removed, they come back again into the shape. So that is example of nastic movement. Okay, hygroscopic movement. ये एक मजेदार सी चीज, I don't want you people to try, but if you could, it can be a great thing. इसकी मैं एक सिंपल एग्जांपल देती हूँ. आजकल तो फ्लैट्स के घर है, nowhere people prefer windows and doors made up of wood. Have you ever noticed कि बारिश के मौसम में जो दरवाजे और बाहरी होती है वो जैम हो जाता है?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
क्यों ऐसा होता है?
Ma'am, due to humidity.
ह्यूमिडिटी करती क्या है?
मैम वुड जो होता है वो थोड़ा फूल जाता है.
Because wood is nothing but the cell wall of the plant, that is cellulose. So cellulose is a hygroscopic substance, that means it absorbs water very vigorously. So water इस वजह से swell हो जाता है. So due to absorption of water, if there is any change in the curvature of plant, any shape of the plant, that is called hygroscopic movement. So then we will move towards the reproduction part. We discussed about varied part in a very short time. So I'm just once again confirming if any part require any further explanation. Class?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
So we will move towards the reproduction ring. So in this part, obviously there will be production of male and female gamete. And next step after production of male and female gamete is the transfer of male gamete to female gamete. Why? Because the procedure is oogamous. Female gamete is big and it is non-motile. Okay? तो मेल गैमेट को फीमेल गैमेट के पास जाना पड़ता है. दिस प्रोसेस इज कॉल्ड पॉलिनेशन. So unlike bryophytes and seedless vascular plants, angiosperms and gymnosperm both have the dominant plant sporophyte. मतलब हम जो ट्री को देखते हैं that is the sporophyte. Okay, but gametophyte is a very diminished part. This is talking about the alternation of generation in gymnosperm or like angiosperm in both. They are having very reduced gametophyte, and gametophytes are so small you cannot even imagine. Pollen grains पता है आपको?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Pollen
Yes,
grain
ma'am.
is the male gametophyte. Can you imagine how small it is? So microspore या pollen grain, many people have this misconception that pollen grain is the male gamete. It is not the male gamete. It is the male gametophyte. Similarly, in case of female, there is a sac-like structure, a pouch-like structure, in which egg exists with a few other cells. That sac is known as embryo sac, and it is known as female gametophyte. So you can understand how reduced the gametophyte and how dependent it is on the main plant. Okay. Now, typical flowers description. We all know that typical flower have these following parts, but it is present in bisexual flower. अगर flower unisexual हुआ तो calyx corolla तो रहेगा, but either androecium or gynoecium can be there. Okay, so calyx means calyx जो होता है, it is made up of petals. बहुत सारे पेटल्स मिलके कैलिक्स होते हैं. Sorry, I'm extremely sorry. Calyx means it is made up of sepal. Corolla means it is made up of petals. Androecium is made up of stamens. And gynoecium is made up of carpels. Or we call it pistil also. मतलब जैसे आप जानते हो फ्लावर में सिंगल सेपल या सिंगल पेटल नहीं होता है, तो इनकी जो कंबाइंड सिस्टम है दैट इज कॉल्ड कैलिक्स, कोरोला, एंड्रोशियम एंड गाइनोशियम. सो एंड्रोशियम इज द मेल रिप्रोडक्टिव पार्ट एंड गाइनोशियम इज द फीमेल रिप्रोडक्टिव पार्ट. Is this part clear? I know most of you must have studied it in grade 10, but still I just
Yes.
want to confirm.
Yes.
Is it clear to everyone? Great.
Yes, ma'am.
So we will move ahead. This is the elaboration of calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. Sometimes calyx and corolla fuse. For example, in case of tuberose. Tuberose जिसे रजनीगंधा का फूल बोलते हैं, in that calyx and corolla is fused. It's having structure like this. Lower part is slightly green, but it doesn't have corolla. जैसे hibiscus flower में आप देखना कि flower के नीचे ऐसे 5 दांत जैसे structures रहते हैं, and then the petals are coming into the picture. So this
Yes.
part is called stamen. Sorry, this part is called sepal, and this is called petal. Okay, So in some plant, this calyx and corolla is fused, and then we can call it perianth. So androecium is reproductive part, and gynoecium is also reproductive part. They are representing male and female part. Now, in case of androecium, if you see, look into the stamen, it has a rod-like structure called filament, and at the top of filament there are knob-like structure which is called anther. Okay, this is in case of stamen. And in case of carpel, it has three parts. This is the stigma, जहाँ पे pollen grains deposit होती है. This is called style, and this is called ovary. So ovary के अंदर ovule होता है, और ovule के अंदर आपकी embryo sac होती है, और embryo sac के अंदर जो egg होता है वो होता है. So you can understand how protected the female gamete is. Understood, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
So obviously we are going to learn about details of this. So this is how the mature flower looks. You can see in pistil part, these are the ovules, and the outer part is ovary, and these are the anther lobes, which in which side which pollens are produced. I told you already that flowers can be bisexual, that is, it can have both androecium and gynoecium, or it can be unisexual also. So inside ovary, the ovule is there. Ovule is a very vital structure because it is in future going to get modified into seed. So if you look into the structure of ovule, it has outer covering called integument. Then it has a tissue called nucellus. Actually, if you look into the initial stage of ovule, उसमें nucellus ही रहता है. Nucellus से ही future में मेगास्पोरोसाइट या मेगास्पोर मदर सेल प्रोड्यूस होता है, from which the megaspore, that is the egg cell, is produced. ठीक है, जो फीमेल गैमेट है that will be produced from this megasporocyte only. So this megasporocyte is the female gametophyte. It is going to get modified into the embryo sac. So you can see once it is modified into embryo sac, so this is the structure of an embryo sac. ये पूरी जो if you can look into this part, one second. This whole part is called embryo sac, and inside embryo sac there is like this is, let me once again label so that it will be easy for you to understand. So this is ovule, and this part is embryo sac. In ovule there is a opening. This opening is called micropyle, and the opposite side is called chalazal side. और एम्ब्रियो सैक के अंदर देखो सिर्फ एक यानी आपकी फीमेल गैमेट ही नहीं है. Apart from that, other cells are there. These are called synergids, polar nuclei, and antipolar. I wish to mention the ploidy level here. All of you kindly take a note. ये सभी N होते हैं. This is also N. This is also N. But क्योंकि ये पोलर न्यूक्लियाई वाली सेल जो होती है, it is having two ends, so that's why it is called diploid. So I want all of you to clearly understand the structure of embryo sac. Take 2 minutes time if required, but because आप ये नहीं समझेंगे तो you will not be able to understand why we call it double fertilization. Maybe you can take a screenshot so that when I explain double fertilization to you, it will be helpful for you to understand it. So, inside the anther, which is called also microsporangium, which is bilobed, you can see two compartments are there. The anthers are producing the pollen grain. Which cell division will be operative here? Mitosis or meiosis during formation of pollen grain? कौन सा cell
The
division?
mitosis.
Mitosis. It will be mitosis. Now, these are different agents of pollination. We will talk in detail in grade 12. But I want you people to have an idea. Now I'm coming to the life cycle of angiosperm. In case of angiosperm, the ovary and the anther is producing the haploid cells. So this is the megaspore. This is the what I can see. Yes, Rutu?
मैम मतलब जब भी लाइफ साइकिल पूछे तो मैम उनकी जो रिप्रोडक्टिव साइकिल है वही बोलनी है ना, लिखनी है मैम.
हाँ.
ओके.
तभी तो वो साइक्लिक होगा ना बेटा. आप कोई भी दूसरी इवेंट को डिस्क्राइब करोगे तो विल इट बी साइक्लिक?
No, ma'am.
That's why we call it life cycle. I know you must be thinking about that question of virus, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So these are twists which makes tests interesting. So here is megaspores and microspores, that these are gametes. So once the pollen is deposited on the stigma, it form a tube-like structure called pollen tube. Pollen tube was formed in case of gymnosperm also, if you can remember in the video. This pollen tube will enter to the ovule and fertilize the cell. Now, why we call it double fertilization? इसको double fertilization क्यों बोलते हैं? Because एक जो in each pollen two male gametes आते हैं. So in each pollen two male gametes are there. One male gamete will fertilize the egg. So this male gamete is N and egg is N. So it will fertilize. So this process will be fertilization. To produce the zygote, which is 2N. And you know, all of us know that from zygote the new plant will be produced. In case of other male gamete, which is also haploid, it will fertilize the polar nuclei. मैंने आपको बताया था that in embryo sac there is in between a cell with two nucleus, so it's called polar nuclei, which was 2N, to produce Endosperm. So that is 3N. Many a times in entrance they talk about Floydy level. I wanted you people to know it. That's why I described this in detail. Okay. So this is what is the life cycle. इसमें सिर्फ और सिर्फ इतनी जो phase होती है, that is haploid. इतनी जो phase होती है, that is haploid. Most of the part is diploid. That's why it's known as diplontic life cycle. Okay. So is it clear to everyone why we call it double fertilization?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
We call it triple fusion also क्योंकि पोलर न्यूक्लियाई की दो न्यूक्लियर के साथ गैमेट की तीसरी न्यूक्लियाई फ्यूज होती है. That's why we call it triple fusion. Yes बेटा.
मैम तो यहाँ पे 2 मेल गैमेट्स होते हैं जो फ्यूज करते हैं.
हाँ. That is why we call it like this one, no? So angiosperms can be classified into dicot and monocot. Basically, monocot has one cotyledon. I'm sorry, here is some printing mistake. It will have one cotyledon. So, cotyledon or seed leaves. They have parallel venation in their leaf. Their vascular bundles, that is xylem and phloem, is scattered one. They have fibrous root system. Their carpels are sealed by cells, and they have fold arrangement of floral parts. मतलब floral parts जो होते हैं, they are arranged in a circular manner. Okay, but in case of dicot, actually the best way to understand is looking into the root system and the leaf. Here the dicotyledonous plants are having two like cotyledon. These are two cotyledons, and radicle will give rise to root, female will give rise to shoot. That's why they are known as dicotyledonous plants, in short dicot. Okay, so they have reticulate venation, and their vascular bundles are arranged in a ring. If you cut a section, you can see that they are arranged in a ring generally. Apart from that, they have taproot system. So economic importance of angiosperm, I don't think I need to elaborate. All of us are using it. It can be used as a source of food, nutrient, income. For wildlife animal, it is like a source of food. We use it for decoration. We have properties like medicinal properties. We use them for timber, cloth. ऐसी कोई चीज नहीं जिसमें हम plants को use नहीं करते. So with this we are done with the angiosperm. Any questions, beta? Lot many things we learned today in a short span of time.
मैम.
Yes, beta.
मैम मुझे एंजियोस्पर्म के अलावा डाउट है तो मैं पूछूं?
Okay, then let me declare this lecture is over. I will share the material to Vishwajit sir as well as the worksheet. You refer, and if you have any doubt, ask me. Okay.